About the first time I entered the museum, well, as I like to think of it today, it was a cute story. We, being young boys, loved climbing the mountains of crushed rock that was taken from the quarry. And we found this one pile of rock with gold in it. So we filled up our bags, and right away I figured, well, we're going to be independently wealthy. We have found the mother lode. So someone told me, bring a piece of this to the museum. I did. And the woman behind the desk looked at it, and I asked her, is this gold? She chuckled and said, no, it's fool's gold. And then she caught herself, not wanting to call me a fool. She said, it's iron pyrite, and it has confused people and confounded people for centuries. I wanted to learn more about this pyrite, this fool's gold. And when I found out that this same woman gave nature classes at the museum, I joined them, and that was the start. I was 8 or 9 years old, and that's where I gained my love of natural science.
I was a kid when I got out of school, which was not too far from here. I'd come to the nature programs. We had the Junior Naturalist Club, and then on Saturdays he also had a nature program that we used to go to. We had live animals.
Some of my earliest memories of the museum was finding my way around the various rooms to address what was sort of a quiz or a challenge opportunity where you'd go out into a card box and pull out a list of questions and then have to hunt down the answers. And at the time it was interaction at its best. And what it caused you to do was get up, get out, and look around at all of what the museum had to offer, and often look at things in a different way than you would if you were simply to just cruise around the building, which is certainly would have been the way it would have happened otherwise for me at that age.
We used to do questions throughout the whole building where we had an index card that would have some questions, like a simple one out of the bird room might have been, what was the smallest bird? And we had to look around and see if we could find it. And the answer to that would have been the hummingbird, which I still remember from back when I was a kid here.
I worked with Thom for 10 years, and I volunteered for him for a couple years before that. Thom was involved with the Junior Naturalist for quite a while, for a long time. People really remember that whole program very fondly. And it was a fairly serious, fairly rigorous program. It wasn't just babysitting. And you had to do some work, and you had to learn some. Thom put a lot into that program. It was a terrific program.
Whatever it was, Thom always had a way of sort of delivering some tidbit of information about the natural world around us through stories. And certainly as a kid, that was an easy way to sort of get my attention.
He was quite often in books trying to, answer other people's questions. People would come in off the street. They would bring minerals sometimes for him to identify. He was very much into minerals. He helped us do one of our exhibits with the mineral room back a ways. He's just the type of person that out in the community that it was easy to ask him a question. And like I said, he was the type that most times he'd have the answer.
Thom has these stories that he can recall and is just a wealth of knowledge, not only in Berkshire County and of Berkshire County things, but also within the walls of this building.
Thom is from the Berkshires. He's always, as a child, come to the museum. He's worked here ever since he was, again, probably 14 years old, as myself. He's had the interest in the Berkshires, of the nature. He likes to kayak. He likes to hike. So he is part of the Berkshires. It's not just where he's just promoting it, but he also gets out there, he photographs, he really gets involved with the community. People still see him on a hiking trail or out canoeing and ask questions, and He's very accessible out there with the Berkshires. He still comes in at the museum, helps us out. He comes and helps maybe once or twice in a week to help with the aquarium to help make things work better. And so he still donates time back here, even though he's got a very busy schedule. He still writes his articles. Ask Mr. Smith for the newspaper, and so he's still out there, and the people still know how to get a hold of him.
But Brian became so enamored of the museum that, like myself, he spent every free moment here. And when he was old enough, he began working here, went off to college, came back, and a job was offered, similar to my case. I, for instance, had a scholarship to MIT, and I knew that I would never make a go at MIT because I'm certainly not enough of a mathematician. So when offered the job at the museum, I took it. Some say it was a cop-out, but I don't believe so. That was my destiny.